Music videos are awesome. MVs give listeners a visual representation to a song. It can help an artist get their message in the music across more clearly. When done correctly, nothing is better than an epic music video to complement a hit track. Kanye West's music has always exceeded music. Ye did receive a full-ride scholarship to Chicago's American Academy of Art, so it's no surprise that he goes above and beyond to make his albums an experience. Be that merch, listening parties, and you guessed it, music videos. Kanye West has released 50 plus music videos, some receiving high praise and some creating controversy. But along with going the extra mile to make his music special, Kanye is also synonymous with scrapping projects. And just like he has done with a number of albums, Kanye has had many music videos written, filmed, and edited only to never release them to the general public. So today, we are going to cover all 20 plus of Kanye's unreleased music videos. At a young age, Kanye mapped out his musical career in depth. So it's no surprise that when creating his debut studio album, The College Dropout, Kanye had some elaborate ideas when it came to the visual representations for the music. Now, Kanye had some pretty sick photo shoots done for The College Dropout, all taking place at high school locations and in gyms, as seen on the physical release of The College Dropout. But many music videos will be made for Kanye's debut album, all being placed on the College Dropout Anthology DVD. The disc would contain music videos for All Falls Down, Through the Wire, The New Workout Plan, Slow Jams, Jesus Walks, and 2 Words. But one entirely finished music video for one of my personal favorite Kanye tracks, embodying the grind that one must endure before making it big, would not be released for public viewing back in 2004. A music video for Spaceship would be fully shot, fully edited, everything was done for this thing, but for some reason, it was never released. In the video, Kanye is rapping his verse while sweeping the floor, working the register, and dealing with customers at this shitty retail job. Both GLC and Cons are in the video as well, with GLC also being a retail worker just like Kanye, but Cons rapping his verse as a customer. Even Tony Williams is in this music video. On the outro, he's seen like in this NASA type facility, looking at these like diagrams of space and stuff in these satellites while singing the outro. It's great. And eventually we get to see Kanye's fantasy blend into reality as he's able to quit this job and he walks out in the spacesuit. This would leak years later after it was filmed and didn't make the cut for the Anthology DVD, but Kanye would actually upload it to his website in 2020 as a part of the Best Day Ever announcements. In the announcements was his partnership with The Gap for a clothing line, and because the song is really centered around, grinding as a young artist and working at The Gap, he even name drops Gap in the song, he figured it would be kind of, cool to put that out at the same time. Kanye would receive a lot of praise with the release of The College Dropout, winning Best Rap Album at the 2005 Grammy Awards. But Kanye had a legacy to create and was only getting started with the Dropout trilogy. Late Registration would be Kanye's next project and would allow him to utilize a lot of ideas that he had written down for years, such as the track Hey Mama. Along with videos for Gold Digger and Diamonds from Sierra Leone, Kanye would release a music video for the intro track of Late Registration, Heard 'Em Say. It was a black and white video with Adam Levine and Kanye singing in between clips of drawing animations. But an entirely different music video for Heard 'Em Say in a live action format would actually be shot and fully finished, just never released. Kanye is essentially rapping, going around this Macy's, hanging out with these kids, kind of just causing chaos, messing around in the store. And Adam Levine is oddly like the security manager at the store. The music video doesn't make too much sense, to be honest with you, but I do prefer it to the Heard 'Em Say music video that did get released. I think that one's like really boring. But Levine's basically chasing Kanye and the kids, and he's singing his part on the hook too, which is, and at the end, the store is like opening to the general public, and Kanye and the kids are seen on the security cam in the bed as these shoppers are entering. So he goes, and then when he finally gets there, they're gone. Again, weird video, but I do prefer it to the released version. The second video, finished but not officially put out by Kanye for Late Registration, is one for the track Drive Slow. Now, this music video is actually a remix of Drive Slow, not in the sense that like someone's verse is taken off, but actually a verse is added. This one has T.I. on it. This music video is directed by Hype Williams, and it has everyone featured on the track. T.I., Kanye, Paul Wall, and GLC all rapping as they're driving around the city. And they're rapping in these like, you know, dark rooms, but then you get shots of the city and them driving. It's really cool. T.I.'s verse is good, but it didn't make the cut for late registration. He would even say in an interview that he was kind of confused like what to even do on this song because it was already almost 5 minutes long, and Kanye wanted him to put a verse on, and he's like, what can I do to add to this? It's already a finished song. But yeah, it didn't make it on late registration, and this music video would never be officially released, but it is pretty interesting that, you know, it was shot and just never put out there, because they easily could have cut the T.I. part, I'd imagine. Graduation's imagery was really centered around bright neon lights and animation, with the cover art being done by Takashi Murakami. Looking at footage from the Glow in the Dark tour, and even like Kanye's attire at this point in time when he was rocking those shades, this style would really be utilized and seen in the music videos for Graduation's biggest hits. Good Morning's music video would see the signature Dropout bear seen on the cover get ready for his day at school. Stronger's music video would see Kanye with Daft Punk having some sort of robotic surgery, but at the same time using Japanese imagery and neon lighting. And Good Life's music video would see Kanye and T-Pain rapping around pop art. At this point in time, Kanye was really broadening his horizons apart from music, be that planning a clothing line with Pastel, or even participating in comedic commercials. But the weirdest project Kanye was involved in at this point in time was 100% Alligator Boots. If you're not familiar, Alligator Boots was essentially the title for Kanye and Rhymefest's puppet comedy show. This show would never see an official release, but Kanye's weird interest in puppets at this time would be seen in the Unreleased music video for the song Champion. Okay, now I may be biased because personally I think puppets are really fucking weird, but I hate this music video, and I'm really glad Kanye didn't release it. Puppet Ye is taking a part in races, lifting, exercising, you know, being a champion. But it just hurts the song. It's like trying to be comedic. The song's obviously not like Black Skinhead or Come to Life in terms of like being serious. But it, you know, it's like, I don't like it. It kills the vibe. Music videos are supposed to complement a track, you know, be a visual aid, really hammer down what the artist was trying to say with the lyrics on the song and everything. And I think this actually does the opposite. Speaking of weird, Flashing Lights has 3 different music videos, 2 of which were never released, and I get why. They're very odd. The first one sees Kanye in some like horror movie type of house, and I guess it's supposed to be like the game Clue, but I don't understand what's going on whatsoever. Like, Flashing Lights is so flamboyant and classy of a sound, and then bam, this dirty house, and it's a like, it makes no sense to me. The second one's weird as well. It just shows Kanye and this girl partying, and it's just weirdly shot footage. The frame rate and the constant freeze frames, honestly, just gives me a headache. Kanye would release the version we all know, with the girl, and the car, and the kidnapping, and the probably murder. Yeah, it's still weird, but the supermodel with the sick sports car and the city background amazingly personifies the beat of Flashing Lights. 808s and Heartbreak is Kanye's most sad and emotionally centered album. You know, covering the loss of his mother as well as the end of a very long personal relationship. But Kanye would really get on his pop art shit during this era, always being dressed to the nines and the photo shoots having all these colorful looks to them. He would even star in a short film titled We Were Once a Fairy Tale, directed by Spike Jonze, based around the 808s track See You in My Nightmares. Music videos would be released for the tracks Welcome to Heartbreak, Heartless, Amazing, Love Lockdown, Paranoid, and Coldest Winter, all personifying the lyrical content and sound of 808s in their own unique way. But when Kanye moved on from the 808s era, 2 music videos would be left behind, never to be released. The first one, starring Kanye and Amber Rose for RoboCop. We have 3 snippets of this music video, and it's kind of shot in like a stop motion style. Amber's essentially acting like a robot, obviously corresponding with the lyrics of this track, while Kanye's acting kind of like a cartoon character, leading me to believe this would have been a more comedic type of music video, and maybe Kanye felt it wasn't appropriate for how serious this album was, so he left it, you know, unreleased. I'm not sure. The second unreleased video for the 808s era was for the track Streetlights, and this one was a lot less finished, but I still think it's interesting. We just have like a rough draft for the video. It's like an animation of a car just driving down a street lights is animated. It's hard to know if they wanted the artificial 80s look or it's just the first draft, but yeah, essentially there's not much to say here. Not really well developed, but one of my favorite tracks off the album, so it is kind of a shame that we didn't get a visual aid, but still, amazing song. Kanye's magnum opus was accompanied by a brilliant short film titled Runaway. Dark fantasy really saw Kanye exceed music, and the fact that he got to make a short film with his music as the score, you know, him being the main actor in it, I guess. I know it's not like Purple Rain extent of, you know, a film, but still, it showed the power he possessed outside of the music industry. Like, he had pull now as an influencer and as a celebrity. But as we saw when Kanye first started designing Yeezys with Nike, there was a lot of higher ups who really didn't see Kanye's vision and weren't, you know, putting their faith in him to really sprout as a creator in other fields such as fashion. And these corporations not vibing with Kanye's vision was actually the reason that the one unreleased music video for Dark Fantasy would be not released. A music video was made for the track Monster featuring Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z, and of course Kanye. The music video would see them all kind of being around horror movie type of things like zombies and all this stuff, and Kanye kind of taking inspiration from American Psycho, having like severed heads of girls and stuff. And MTV would basically refuse to air it because they thought it was too graphic and violent, and they didn't like the corpses and everything, which, you know, it honestly isn't that graphic of a video if you go watch it. It's up on YouTube, you know, people post it. But when Kanye heard this, and also the music video was leaked like a few days before it was set to be released, he finally just, you know, pulled it from YouTube and said, we're not releasing this thing. This also upset feminists because, according to this one quote that I had, the corpses were women who had makeup on. I literally took that for, I'm not kidding, that's a direct quote. I'm kind of hoping that this whole misogyny angle when it comes to this music video is just like butthurt Taylor fans that were mad that Kanye bounced back after the thing he did to Taylor at the MTV Awards, taking her moment away. If you saw the video, you'd understand. It kind of seemed like a Taylor. You know, I'm not trying to get into conspiracy land here, but but the most ironic part about this alleged misogyny is that the, you know, real main event of this track, the big attraction, the big feature, is Nicki Minaj's verse, seen as, you know, a trailblazing verse that really set the stage for women in hip-hop in the late 2010s. I mean, she absolutely bodied Jay-Z and Kanye. This is literally her track, and the verse is already considered legendary today. And the album's only 11 years old, and it's already a classic verse. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of this music video, and I'm not losing sleep that it's unreleased, but it is just interesting to see how people reacted, and, you know, potentially this was the start of people treating Kanye differently thanks to his controversies. Despite slight controversy with the Monster music video, Dark Fantasy placed Kanye at his rightful place on top of the music industry. The next 2 years, Kanye would essentially ride the wave of momentum from releasing My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by owning the summer with just two awesome collaboration albums, one with Jay-Z, Watch the Throne, and the other a good music collab called Cruel Summer. Watch the Throne definitely had some iconic music videos. I love the one for No Church in the Wild, and Otis's music video is just iconic. But one of my favorite music videos, and I kid you not, of all time, stemmed from Cruel Summer, and that is the music video for Mercy. Shot in cinematic fashion in widescreen, Pusha T, Big Sean, 2 Chainz, and Kanye all hang out in this garage with these epic like jackets and face masks on in front of these luxury cars, and the camera just pans side to side as each spit their awesome verses over this cold beat. I love it. To this day, every time I see that video, it is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But shockingly, there was a lot bigger plans for visuals for Cruel Summer, and I'm not just talking about music videos. There was a plan for a Cruel Summer film. Directed by Kanye West and Alexander Morse, the film would be shot in Dubai and Abu Dhabi using a specialized camera rig, allowing multiple angles to be shot at once. In a creative design lecture in 2017, graphic designer Michael Rock showed brief footage of the Cruel Summer film. Unlike a normal film, the Cruel Summer movie was to be watched in a 7-screen experience. The film would be previewed at the Cannes Film Festival in 2012, with the screening occurring in a custom pyramid-shaped pavilion with 7 screens. This was set to absolutely push the boundaries of cinema, and allegedly there was plans to have multiple special showings all across the world with this multiple screen setup. The storyline would involve Kid Cudi attempting to earn the respect from a love interest's parents by passing a series of challenges for the ability to marry this Arabian princess. Audio for the film was leaked, and the recording we got, which is in low quality but still it's better than nothing, is around 30 minutes. I don't know if it's the full thing, but it's just interesting to hear, this dialogue along with the epic songs on Cruel Summer. Personally, I think Cruel Summer is like one of Kanye's most underrated projects. It's not revisited enough or talked about enough by people in the Kanye community. This is personally one of my biggest Kanye grails. If we ever get to see this, even if we have just like the hard shot, like the main focus shot, I don't need to have a bunch of screens. I would like to see it like that, but still, this would be very interesting. Just, I think, anyway, if it ever did get an official release, but it probably will never happen. The Yeezus era would see Kanye continue his ventures into the film world. For starters, a promo of the album would be screened onto buildings across the world. Parodying American Psycho's infamous Huey Lewis in the news scene, Scott Disick plays Patrick Bateman, and he murders Paul Allen, played by Jonathan Cheban, and essentially the whole thing about American Psycho is before Patrick Bateman murders anyone, he always goes on like these weird tangents about albums that he likes and songs and goes into the meaning. So Scott Disick here is explaining Yeezus and Kanye and specifically the song New Slaves, and it's perfect. Along with music videos for Black Skinhead and Bound 2, Kanye's Yeezus tour was extremely well done, with amazing stage design, structure, and attire. And the tour was actually filmed professionally and set to be released in documentary format. The Yeezus tour, directed by Hype Williams, would be officially announced by Kanye himself as he put the ad for the film up on his website in 2014. For whatever reason, the documentary would never be released, but there is a terrific compilation out there of a bunch of fans' views that pieces the Yeezus tour all together for like one clear showing where you can watch the whole tour unfold the whole show, and I definitely recommend it. Kanye's musical plans, from releasing Yeezus to finally dropping The Life of Pablo, was extremely complicated. As I've discussed in depth on this channel, Kanye's plans after releasing Yeezus was to create a sequel. However, he eventually changed those plans, and his project at the time evolved into its own entity, titled So Help Me God. And in the midst of the So Help Me God era, Kanye would drop 2 singles, All Day and Only One. A music video for Only One would be released with Kanye hanging out with daughter North on a dusty path. But All Day also had a music video that was completely shot, completely finished, just never put out for the general public to see. Directed by Steve McQueen, Kanye raps from an abandoned warehouse in really raw fashion. The music video was previewed for various fans during Paris Fashion Week. And the music video is actually 9 minutes because alongside Kanye rapping all day, as he takes a breather and sits down on his wall, he actually performs an unreleased track titled I Feel Like That. I really find it interesting that this music video isn't like 2 separate, videos for these 2 different tracks. It's actually combined in one. And I really admire the idea of like a double feature music video. I think that's super cool. As Kanye continued his vision when working on his follow-up to Yeezus, he would actually change the name of the album 3 more times. First, Swish, then Waves, and then finally, The Life of Pablo. Now, The Life of Pablo would see Kanye release one of my favorite music videos of all time. Alongside Mercy, I absolutely love the music video for Famous. It really makes a statement on how we view these people, who are just people, as so special and so out of the ordinary just because they're celebrities. America really treats famous people as untouchable when in reality, they have a lot of dirt on their hands and they're all sleeping in the same bed together. It's absolutely brilliant. And we often think of famous people as untouchable, yet here's Kanye showing them sleeping naked in a vulnerable position like that, in bed with, Donald Trump, George Bush, a lot of people tied to his controversies and tied to his camp, while he sits at the center. The way that video descends from the clouds into the bedroom and then ascends back up as Father Stretch My Hands plays is a different level of artistry. But aside from music videos that were released for Wolves and Fade, Kanye actually had 2 more music videos planned for the life of Pablo. The first one I'm going to talk about is Waves, and I think it's important to remember that right before Kanye switched over to the Life of Pablo title, the album was going to be called Waves, so technically this would have been the title track. Now, this was filmed in Scotland, and some Scottish press over there, the Herald, said the iconic artist who's married to Kim Kardashian is understood to have filmed at the dramatic Leet Falls in Trotternish with a crew of around 60 people and several helicopters. The article also mentions Hype Williams being with Kanye on set, so I'd imagine he, like many Kanye music videos, was the man directing it, and name drops the track Waves to be the song they were shooting for. Now, the second music video that would never be released is Highlights, and we don't have as much info on this one, but it's still interesting. This was actually performed at SNL the night of Pablo's release and had a really cool stage setup, and perhaps that was kind of close or mirrored that of the setup for this music video, I'm not sure. This was filmed in Iceland, and we only know this information because of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, this article covering the episode says that the music video was situated on a glacier that was only accessible via helicopter. Kim never explicitly said that it was Highlights in the video, but Courtney confirmed that the video shot in Iceland is her favorite song on Pablo, which she revealed to be Highlights shortly after the album dropped. So obviously, never got released, and we really don't have access to any footage or anything from this music video, or the Waves one for that matter, but personally, Waves is one of my favorite Kanye songs. Like, the energy on that song is just amazing, so I really would have liked a visual representation for that sound. I think it would have been really cool. After Kanye released The Life of Pablo, he immediately got back in the studio and started working on his video game-inspired album, TurboGrafx-16. This album had a video game theme, and on a leaked list of samples, we got to see a lot of samples that would have been included on these songs from video game soundtracks or sound effects from famous video games. While this album would never be released, a wild music video for the track Feel Me would be released by the man who directed it. So this is a Kanye and Tyga song that's actually pretty good. Now, Kanye at some point gave the track to Tyga, and he put it out, so Kanye is featured on this, but I'd imagine both were involved in the music video, so I'm including it on this list. So like I said, the music video was uploaded by the director. He is under the name Eli Russell Lintes. I think I'm saying that last name wrong. In the video, blue lightning comes down from the sky as Ye and Tyga ride around custom Calabasas monster trucks. Giant versions of Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner appear in the video, showing off their bodies, and the big reveal is that Kim gives birth to Kylie. It's like symbolizing that Kylie's like the sex icon out of the Kardashian-Jenner clan, I guess. And while it is very whack, I low-key love how wild this music video is. And I love the trucks, like all of it, the blue lightning. The aesthetic is actually pretty damn cool. Aside from the weird Kim K, Kylie birth thing, it's a pretty awesome video, and the wild nature of it really fits the manic sound from both Ye and Tyga's delivery. Yandhi, likely the most famous unreleased Kanye album, with so many sought-after tracks that are iconic even though the versions we have heard weren't even finished. And despite the fact that most of the songs on Yandhi were unfinished, some music videos were thought up and even filmed on some occasions and planned to be released when the record dropped. So the first of which is the most recent actually that we have access to. This is Alien. It's a music video directed by Hype Williams that is really fucking weird. This was found on Vimeo just a few months ago in the fall of 2021. This version doesn't have any of the features. I know we all love Young Thug's verse, Kid Cudi's. Kanye's only on this version of Alien that this music video's with. Just a lot of weird shots. Obviously you have the the shots of the moon and everything in the solar system and the planets fitting the alien theme, but then you have like shots of like this woman holding some glowing light like it's the sun or something, and then that same woman like then gets on like it doesn't look like an alien. She looks like a dinosaur with like she puts on this weird outfit. It's weird. I don't know. This is likely a rough cut or just merely a rough draft, a concept. But to be honest with you, if Alien does get an official release, this can be the coolest fucking music video of all time. Like, Alien could have a really dope music video. The concept of it, everything. And I really am hoping it's on Kids See Ghost 2 if Kids See Ghost 2 ever happens. But I've been saying it for so long, I'm just going to buckle down on it. Alien, Kids See Ghost 2, Cudi, Kanye, maybe Young Thug. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so this next music video, we don't exactly have like HD full footage of it, but we do have some pictures of the set and a 12-second rough clip. This is, of course, New Body. We got the pictures of the set in early 2021, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of neon. There was a dinosaur on the set, a giant dinosaur head. And the best thing I could say about this set, it just looks like a laser tag area. Like for where kids play laser tag, like the way the neon is and everything, and the lighting, it looks exactly like that. We do have a 9-second clip of Nicki Minaj rapping her verse on a stack of cash, radiating neon colors to match the vibe of the music video. And the Barbs, they kind of failed us. They couldn't convince Kim to like just bug Kanye to release New Body. Like, New Body's not even my favorite track, but I honestly thought for sure it was going to get an official release just because how crazy Nicki Minaj fans are. On a more serious note, our last music video, the song actually did end up getting an official release. Kanye wasn't on it, but we're talking about We Got Love, featuring Tiana Taylor. Now, this music video was literally shot the day after Kanye's infamous Yandi Trump SNL rant. And in that rant, obviously, he was talking about trying love to solve conflicts specifically involving American politics, with the president, Donald Trump, being so controversial and a lot of people really disliking Trump. So it's pretty fitting that that rant about trying love happened the day before, and now Kanye is in the parking lot of TMZ, a company that puts out a lot of tabloid articles to get clicks that a lot of the times aren't even from trustworthy sources and are false information, and parading his idea of trying love in We Got Love. And if you've heard the song, you know it's all about, you know, spreading love in the world and feeling the love. In the shot, Kanye and Tiana are just surrounded by dancers and stuff. I think this would have been a really cool music video if it did come out and say a lot, and that's legendary. The TMZ parking lot, I love that. Yandi, of course, evolved into Jesus is King. And although Jesus is King disappointed a lot of people in the album sense, like just specifically talking about the album content that was released, you cannot deny that those Sunday service performances Kanye was doing at that point in time in 2019, like touring, Coachella, all of it, pretty moving and powerful stuff. The choir singing iconic Kanye tracks, all these people coming together in this beautiful nature setting outdoors, it was special. But along with Jesus is King's release, there was a special viewing of a Jesus is King film, where basically at IMAX theaters, it was a film where the Sunday service choir were performing some different tracks, but also it was like the tracks off Jesus King were being played, and then there was also a little bit of a mixture on some of the Jesus King tracks, like some of them were different. But the imagery, just like all the Sunday service performances, was awesome. But instead, like, it's in this giant IMAX theater with these awesome speakers. It had to be really cool to see. The Sunday service choir performed in James Turrell's Rodin Crater in Arizona. The imagery, like I mentioned, was really moving. But on the West Day Ever campaign, Kanye basically said a lot of things. The Gap announcement of a new album and a new single, God's Country, rest in peace, and of course Wash Us in the Blood, which we did get. But also he said the Jesus is King film was going to be put on Apple Music, and we're still waiting. Now, Jesus is King had a short track list, but it still had 2 music videos released for Follow God and Close on Sunday. Both were pretty epic, actually, and I would say Follow God especially is probably my favorite cut, and I love the video with Kanye and his dad riding around on Kanye's ranch. Like, I think that's awesome. But if everything went according to plan, there was supposed to be a third and final Jesus is King music video to be released, and that was for the track Water. This was directed by Hype Williams, and we only know this information because he actually posted footage of the Water music video that he worked on for a brief moment in time to Instagram. The intro on this version of Water for the music video is different. It's Aunt Clemens only, no Sunday service choir. Now, this may shock some of you, but there's a lot of shots of water for this music video. I know it's kind of it's shocking, but there's also like a shot of a girl in water, but she's not drowning. Rather, she seems like she's at peace. You know, all centered around that vibe of finding peace in Jesus and God and everything in salvation that is seen on Jesus is King. We have finally arrived at Kanye's most recent era, and honestly, I can say that the Donda era is likely his wildest. Following the trials and tribulations of 2020, Donda was honestly something you just had to experience in real time. Think about this. We're in quarantine, Kanye's live tweeting about Kris Jenner, calling her Kris Jong-un, and also teasing an album that we're all salivating for. There's a lot of moments that I'll never forget from the Donda era, and I'm really happy that they're all preserved in that complicated rollout series that I did. But oddly enough, there would be a lot of music videos and even films considered during this Donda era. Now, it's not like we have a bunch of details on all of these. Some of them we do, but a lot of them I think we just need some more time and eventually things will come out. But I would like to mention them. The first is Angels. This is a film directed by Hype Williams, rumored to be a music video for the God's Country track Angels, but who knows. I honestly thought when I read that, that Hurricane that we heard on the first Atlanta listening party, where it had like the City of Lost Angels part that is allegedly from a whole different track. I honestly thought of that track, like, is it the City of Los Angeles? I don't know. We'll see eventually if that ever does come out, but Hype was involved with Kanye at this time. The only reason we saw this is because there was a Instagram story someone posted of that Kanye warehouse, and there was just a giant thing on the screen that said Angels, a Hype Williams film. And we don't know much about it, obviously, but Hype also directed that Kanye 2020 campaign ad. You know, that's really all we know. We never got Angels. Something I'm really happy we didn't end up getting is With Child. On paper, a visual aid, like kind of like the dark fantasy Runaway short film, that sounds awesome for Donda. Like, that would have been insane. Just shots of the ranch, everything Kanye. I was so down for that. Like, I was so excited. And then, eventually, in hindsight, you're like, we dodged a bullet with that one, thanks to Mr. Damon Dash. Now, originally, this idea was, you know, we all heard of it as, like, a movie that was shot on Ye's ranch. And it basically, the score would be the Donda songs, and it would be released on the day of the album. And a lot of the clothes featured would be the clothes expected to be in the Yeezy Gap catalog released over time. Sounds pretty cool. It was directed by Vanessa Bancroft and expected to be released by Dame Dash. But as things really fell apart with 2020 Donda, by the time that, you know, Dame Dash started editing this and everything and getting ready to put it out, which I don't know if it's out right now, obviously no one in the world's talking about it, but we did get a trailer. He had to have his like shitty rock band instead do the score for it, and it's just generic as hell. And we did get a trailer. Some wise guy on Dame Dash's team uploaded it to Vimeo publicly, and it just looks terrible. Just looks whack, like some live action anime shit, and Kanye's barely in it. It's just total clickbait. Ridiculous. Looks whack, no serious Kanye involvement, and no relation to current day Donda. I'm glad we never had to see this. Now we're moving over to music videos for Donda, and obviously it's complicated because there's like two Donda eras, the 2020 and then the 2021. This music video was set for the 2020 era of Donda, and it was the title track that Kanye posted to Twitter. This really started the Donda era because he uploaded this title track where his mother's reciting the KRS-One lyrics. The sweet beat kicks in. It's an awesome track, and honestly, one of my favorite unreleased Kanye tracks for sure. And Kanye uploaded the music video to Twitter, but Twitter has that 2-minute and 20-second time limit for videos, so it cuts off right there. But it honestly seems like the song is pretty much done when it gets to that point. Kanye just finishes his words there, and I think it was going to fade out or something, or the instrumental was going to finish. But interestingly enough, it continues the vibe of Wash Us in the Bloods, you know, creative process where Wash Us in the Blood didn't have like a ton of new content. Like most of the music videos we talked about, Kanye had a film crew and he filmed this, or he had different angles here. It mostly uses like older footage or footage they find and puts it together. And that's exactly what this music video does here as well, except from like a scene where Kanye's in Hawaii, I believe it is, and he's tying a Yeezy Gap hoodie to a palm tree. So like I said, basically heard the whole song, basically saw the whole music video, thankfully, because it's a great track. But yeah, this would never see an official release and would not make it on 2021 Donda when, you know, it just didn't fit the vibe anymore. 2021 Donda is a lot darker and introspective. This track is really, I love it though. 24 is an interesting one because there was a music video shot back in 2020. Some of the footage was used in the 2021 music video that was released recently. Some of it wasn't, and we're going to cover it here. So this version is the version of 24 with Casey, the Sunday service choir, and, you know, the bongo, by the way, drums. It's, you know, that sweet instrumental, not the creepy organ and not Kanye's vocals. We have like a leaked screen recording off some laptop. It's like laggy, but you can see the Sunday service choir, like a bunch of them are taking up the whole screen with their heads. If you guys have seen the Igor's theme preview before Tyler the Creator dropped Igor, it's like that same exact vibe, like with all their heads just showing. It's a really cool shot, to be honest with you. And then we also have the shot of Kanye in the sky where he's falling. That was used for the 2021 music video, but there's no circle. It's a full shot there, full screen. Like I said, the music video for 24 would be released in 2021, and the music video is pretty damn epic. But, you know, this is a rare occasion where I really like both versions of this song. I can't say, like, you know, I prefer Kanye's version or I prefer KC's version. They're both pretty awesome. But if we're talking Donda, I gotta go with Kanye's because, obviously, it's a Kanye West record. Finally, our last music video to discuss not only in the Donda era, but in this video, is Hurricanes. Kanye filmed a music video for Hurricane back in November of 2020. So in New York, Kanye shows up to this studio, and there's a worker at this studio who takes to Twitter to upload this picture, and it says, like, Hurricanes, that's the project title. Directed by Hype Williams, client is Yeezy, and along with the Hurricanes, it says featuring Lil Baby. Now, I really am interested, like, why they named it Hurricanes instead of Hurricane, because obviously they returned to Hurricane when Donda released this year. I don't know if that was, like, just a typo or something, but that's genuinely one of the most interesting parts of this. Like, why the S? We have a shot of Hype Williams in the studio for this in Manhattan, and the worker would say, it's expected to be released by Thanksgiving. And we all know how that went. We have yet to see a Hurricane music video, and I don't know if we ever will. I don't know what they did for this version. Like, it's not very known. We don't have any shots of the visuals or what was filmed or if Kanye singing the hook. I'd imagine it's pretty similar sounding to the Hurricane we heard at the first Atlanta listening party with Kanye on the hook and the, like, Yandi type instrumental. So when you add the Weeknd on the hook and totally change the track sound and make it more, you know, organy, I guess, and minimalistic compared to the old instrumental, I don't imagine that the footage you filmed for the 2020 version of the song would really fit anymore. Donda was, of course, planned for a December 25th release, then moved to New Year's, and then pushed back and almost canceled for Spirits Over the Horizon, and then obviously the theme came back. And when Donda did release this year, Hurricane did feature Lil Baby, so I'd imagine it's the same verse. So at least we could find peace and, you know, some solidarity in the fact that Kanye's favorite rapper, Lil Baby, he has a song with him now. When Kanye does something musically, he almost always does it big. I mentioned merch, I mentioned the listening parties. Kanye, at heart, is an artist. His music videos are honestly like no other. He goes all out with collaborators like Hype Williams to create a perfect visual aid matching the music. Ye's ventures into the film world are just another example of the unique genius of Kanye West.